Okay, so I promised I would give you a rundown on these bits. These are essentially all of the bits that you need for a Simplex repeater base station. Now it's a lot easier if you just want to set up something like if you're out camping for the weekend and you want to put something up on the hill. Essentially you really only need the modem and a radio like a walkie-talkie, and this modem comes with a battery already built in. That'll last all day. You could potentially just use that with a walkie-talkie strapped to a tree somewhere and that would work just fine. But I want a permanent thing that's set up, that's there to use it if and when I use it. And I do want to stress, please check your local regulations about whether you can do this or not. Some jurisdictions do not allow you to do this. So basically what I've got an old, this is a 10 watt, I've got two of these, the other one's already up there. This is an old real estate lighting project I did about 15 years ago, and I still had a few of these left over. A nice solid frame. This used to have a battery box and a charger in there. I've removed that, so I've just got the cable that'll run down the tower. These things I welded up and got hot dip galvanized, a whole heap of them. Hot dip galvanizing actually isn't that expensive to get done, and it looks good. Like if you want to make trailers or something, if you make them yourself and get them hot dip galvanized, they're awesome and they'll last forever. 12 ampere hour, just a lead acid battery. I don't need fancy lithium or something. These batteries are nice and simple and they work for a good 10 years. I just replaced one in a door that's been there for 15 years. And they work really good with the cheap Chinese solar chargers. This is just a pulse charger. Basically, the PV gets connected across the battery while it's charging. When the peak voltage is hit, it disconnects it and just keeps turning on and off like that with a bit of hysteresis in between. This can be programmed to work as like a light controller, so you could use this to turn lights on and off. Ones that come on, say, a couple of hours after it's dark. But I've got it set on permanently on, and all it's doing is voltage regulation. If the battery drops below 10 volts, it'll shut down to prevent over discharging and damaging the lead acid battery. So they're a handy little thing to have. The antenna came with the radio, all very cheap. This bracket, beautiful little bracket. It's a $1 right angle bracket from my local hammer barn. All I did was, there's 4 of these for $4, and the little U-bolt saddles, I think you get them for about $1.50 each, and you get them different sizes, and I got the ones that just fit on here. I drilled the holes out a bit better so they fit in easily, and that'll just mount on the tower like that. The hole there was the right size. Screw it all together, run the cables down. Really easy. When I was in the same aisle there, got the U-clamps to mount the solar panel to the tower, so that's all done. The radio, I've talked to you before, I modified this so that it has a plug in it, because this radio didn't come standard with a plug, which is also a little bit annoying because you've got to use the audio out the back, and I'll tell you a little problem I had with that shortly. This you can configure and program with DTMF remotely, which is also good. Have a look at the manual for that if you want to use that. But the really tricky bit was making up the cable. Basically, this comes with a plug. It's a 4-terminal. I don't know if you can see that there. It's a 4-terminal stereo plug that plugs into the back here, and that has everything coming out of it. The other end on this is one of those horrid 2-pin 2.5, 3.5 plugs that goes into the side of a Baofeng, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, I wouldn't want to use one of those, and you spread crap all over the spectrum with those. You're just asking for the ACMA to come and hassle you. Anyway, so cut this off and put my matching microphone cable onto it and the speaker. Now, when I plugged it in here on the back, and the speaker and the microphone, it didn't work. Didn't detect this box didn't detect the audio. It's basically Vox. But it didn't detect anything, and I checked my mute settings and everything, nothing. When I unplugged the microphone and opened the mute, it worked. So the speaker was working fine, but when I plugged it in here, it didn't. And it turns out that the audio amplifier in here is a H-bridge output, a dual H-bridge, so it's a balanced output, which means the plug in here isn't grounded. In fact, the 2 pins, you could pick any one of those probably for audio. And so what I ended up having to do is use just the center pin. So this plug here has actually only got one wire connected to it, and I use the ground in the microphone because the audio ground in the microphone is probably more important. It's a much lower level than you get from the speaker audio. So yeah, one wire on this, and then the other wire, the PTT and the microphone and the ground on this side. That all goes together, plugs into the back here like this, and then this one there. And that's basically the setup there. Straightforward, and that actually works. Turns out if you turn the volume up here too loud, all you end up with is a really noisy, there's a lot of background noise. It really picks the AGC really picks the low level hiss and crap up. So this audio is around about, I'd say, a sixth of the way up, sixth to a quarter of the way up. Somewhere, yeah, what's that, 20%, somewhere around there, 16%. Anywhere between 16 and 25%, I'd say, was great. Once I start going over there, you just start getting too much noise, and it just sounds like the movies, those hissy walkie-talkies you get in the movies. Yeah, so, and I've just got the microphone with there, which I'll leave with it to test if I need it for anything. And that's the basic setup. I set this up to float charge or balance float the battery at 13.8. This, if I need to, I can charge some USB things out from here. The one thing I don't have here, which I'll have to still install, is this has a 2.5 millimeter barrel plug in the back for charging, so I'll have to connect one of those up to, and that takes 5 to 24 volts. So that's awesome. I don't need a regulator or anything. That'll go straight onto here with the radio on the output from here. And that's the basic setup. Really simple. That's the entire base setup. I've got a tower up there with a weatherproof box at person level, whatever you want to call it, and just need to run the coax and the cable for the PV up to the top of the tower, because I want to get the PVs up as high as possible, because there are other trees and stuff on location, so I want to make sure I get good illumination. And yeah, that's all you have to do. Radio set up with DTCS, digital tone control squelch. Yeah, so that gives me there's a whole lot of tones on there. There's probably 100 tones you can select. It's a continuous digital tone. I find that better than CTCS. It's a bit harder. I mean, yeah, so anybody listening on the input end can scan the tones and hit what it is, just like can with CTCS. It's not a security thing. What I've got it is so that there's no false triggering. I don't want any yobbo just getting onto it straight away and using it. And if they do have a problem, if I do have a problem, then I will just have to remotely go and rechange it. But I don't think so, because we're not using it. It's not going to be running. It's only there for an emergency down the track if I need to get in touch with the family and because the phones have gone down. So there you go. I hope you liked that simple explanation of the basic setup I've got here. I'll probably give you a short video once it's all set up, just so you can see it up the tower. But yeah, hey, I hope you enjoyed that. If you've got any questions, leave them in the comments. And if you like this and more videos like this, then hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll keep making them for you. Thanks for watching, guys.